Before I went totally mad, I had an out-of-body experience and I thought I'd died. I'd also spent time in psychiatric units. So the way I rationalised this was, I hadn't seen any of my workers since my first admission. So they were my disciples who'd betrayed me. I'd had an out-of-body experience, so I died and resurrected. I'd been disappeared and she came back with a senior nurse. The senior nurse says, "Oh Peter, I hear you think you're Jesus Christ." So I said, "No, I don't think, I know." She says, "Well, you've actually presented us with one hell of a problem. We've already got 2 Jesuses on the ward. And if we admit you, it may upset the status quo." She said, "This is the madness of the system. Are you sure you're not John the Baptist?" I said, "You can start off, you're not downgrading me to John the Baptist." They admitted me to this ward. I never met the other Jesuses, so I don't really know where they got to. But interestingly, I had a great relationship with Paul, the psychiatrist, and actually, I inadvertently destroyed that relationship. He rang me one day, and he said, "Pete, I'd like you to come and visit me." So I went to see him, and I said to him, "Paul, I've worked it all out. I've done another evaluation." So he says, "What is it today?" So what I'd done is, I'd looked at the child sexual abuse, the loss of my family, the loss of my business. I've been told I'll never have a future. Perhaps I was born to kill myself. It's preordained, it's my destiny. So I thought, when I get there, I'll tell Paul I've worked it out, which you can imagine is not a very wise move. So I went to see him. His office was very, very small. And I said, "Paul, I've worked it out." So he says, "Come on then, where is it today?" Now, when you took volumes of medication over years, you forget words and you get thought blocking. And I said, "Paul, I was born to kill." And for life, me couldn't think of the word myself. So I'm psychiatrist, consultant psychiatrist repeating, "Paul, I was born to kill." And you've never seen a chair go back to that back wall as fast as I ever like. And he doubled the medication sexually and went to work in a different trust. So I never got a chance to tell him it was nothing personal. But it's interesting, I like to see hearing voices as a common human experience, and I think in some ways it's enriched my life. I've been through a very, very traumatic journey, but I would not change 1 minute of my life. If I'd never been mad, I wouldn't be here tonight. If I'd never been mad, I would have never got to Australia. You used to have to be a convict, now you have to be mad, and they just invite you. But as we grow up, we're told it's acceptable to hear voices. We go to school. We do religious education. Jesus spoke to God. Paul spoke to a bright light on the road to Damascus. Moses spoke to a burning bush. Can you imagine me going to see the GP? "Sorry I'm late, Alan, the bush on fire, so I stopped for a chat." But this is where we get into class and diagnosis, isn't it? I see myself as working class. The system calls me a chronic schizophrenic. They think they're right, I know they're wrong. But I have to carry that label. Let's go along the class divide. Anthony Hopkins admits he hears voices. He openly admits he uses psychosis to found a lecture in Silence of the Lambs. Duplicity. No one gave him a bleeding Oscar. Well done, Anthony. Zoe Wanamaker has admitted to hearing voices, the actress. They tell her while she's in live theatre, all her underwear would fall off. Which I think, don't wear any, which is not from my train of thought. But she vomits the voices out. But when she's finished acting, the voices comment on her performance. Jude Law has admitted to hearing voices. There's no problem. But then we get the old guy. This old guy's about 90. He's a multi-millionaire. And he wanders around his grounds talking to something that's not there. What would we call him? We call him eccentric. So apart from class and wealth, what is the difference in eccentricity and madness? It's the construct. How we construct to make sense of our beliefs. No one asked me what brought me to services. No one asked the past history. How did we go from owning £1 million business to being a chronic schizophrenic in 4 months? You've got to understand, I had no construct. Could make no sense of it because no one asked. But people construct beliefs in different ways, but we call them eccentric. So I'm going to share some eccentric people with you. Now, if they're not mad, I have never been mad. The first one, a lady that spent a lot of time over here, Doris Stokes, famous medium and spiritualist. She was saying, her voices are a spirit guide, a Native American. For some reasons, they're always Native Americans. And it would sit on her shoulder, but it appeared not as a native, but as a chipmunk. you imagine you see a psychiatrist, can you wait while my chipmunks had a word? You're never going to get out of his office. Winston Churchill heard voices. Everybody thinks of Black Dog was his depression. Winston Churchill saw a black dog speak to him and tell him how to beat the Germans. What do you see Winston Churchill's being mad? Florence Nightingale, iconic, mad as a hatter. She used to walk around the Crimea with a barn owl in her pocket. But when the war was over, she went to bed for 52 years. I come on, Florence, now you've had a few wild weeks, but that's taking the piss, really, isn't it? But can a state or organisation be eccentric? It can in America. 1972, during the Vietnam War, the Pentagon decided homosexuality was biological, so it could be caught. And they developed an aerosol. They said, we're going to spray the jungle where the Vietnamese are. It will cause raging, uncontrollable urges. They'll be too busy molesting each other, they won't be able to fight. It was outlawed as a biological weapon, I wonder why. When we actually look at normalising the experience, 10% of the world's population hear voices. That is as common as asthma. We need to get rid of this label of schizophrenia. We miss the person, it does not exist. People approach me and say, hi Peter, I'm David, I'm a schizophrenic. Would you come up to me and say, hi Peter, I'm David, I'm an asthmatic? Because the percentages are exactly the same. It strips away our identity, our integrity. What we're hoping to achieve, and I think tonight's event has brought so many different people from different backgrounds, and I think that's absolutely amazing, it's spreading the word, so again a big thank you to Bruce and Faye. When we look at it, if we'd never had Rosa Parks, she refused to cross the bus. It would start the black civil rights movement. What would the women here do today if men had never given women the vote? Did they hell us like the suffragettes fought for it? Gay pride, they took rights. The only people with no rights in our society today are people with mental health problems. What we're trying to achieve through the Hearing Voices movement, the mental health anarchists, we need to come together as one. Things have got to change. We have got to have a voice. What we are talking about now is the last great civil rights movement. There cannot be a civil rights movement for anything else, because everybody's got rights apart from people with mental health problems. We need to come together as a body of people. People here that's not being touched by the experience. Don't let Melissa's death be in vain. It has got to change. So I'll just finish with a great quote from Vita Sackville-West. 1 in 4 people are crazy. Think of your 3 best friends. Are they okay? Then it's you. Thank you very much.
1 out of every 4. That's scary. If you would like to help the Melissa Roberts Foundation with a donation, sponsorship, bequest, or the purchase of merchandise, please visit our website. The dragonfly is a significant symbol for the Melissa Roberts Foundation. Our website will tell you why. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.